So we have Sasha here from the Underground Hair Studio, and she is a stay-at-home mom and a hairdresser, and so she's busy, busy, busy. She has been a client that I've been trying to get into socks forever because she's ideal. Not only is she a woman, that puts her at high risk, she's on her feet all day running after her girls, and then she spends her evenings down in her studio cutting hair, so she's on her feet all the time. So I've got her into a pair of socks. So I've already measured her. That took us, what, 2 or 3 minutes to measure? I think what took us the longest was picking out a pair of socks. So Sasha picked out a pair of running socks because not only is she a stay-at-home mom, a hairdresser, she also runs, and so she does short distance, long distance. So I picked her out a pair of sports socks. The sports socks are going to help her with recovery as well post-running, but she can wear these sports socks all the time, so when she's working or on the weekends with the kids or whatever. So these are great. Compression socks have 100% of the compressions right there at the ankle, and then they graduate up. So I'm going to give a couple tips on how to put these on because they are so tight to get over the ankle and the heel, and that's kind of the thickest part of the foot that it's the hardest part to kind of slip over. And when people aren't wearing socks, I hear that a lot, like, oh, I had those socks, I never wore them, I never put them on, they're in my drawer, they're too hard, I don't want to put them on in the morning. So I'm just going to give a couple tips and tricks so that makes it easy to put on so everybody wears them. We do recommend putting them on first thing in the morning. So you get into a routine, you make your coffee, you put the kettle on, you get the kids up, whatever you do, that's your routine. They should go on first thing in the morning. Because overnight we're recovering really well and we're going to have less swelling. So if that's kind of your issue, putting them on first thing in the morning. And then I recommend keeping them on all day and taking them off last thing at night. But if you're like me and at like 9 o'clock your feet are up, you're watching telly or whatever, then yeah, you can pop them off because they'll probably start to drive you crazy at that point. But they are recommended that they're the first thing goes on in the morning and they stay on right until the end. So a tip to put these socks on, they're really easy. The manufacturer recommends using these gloves at all times. And these gloves are about $7. They're kind of like a little insurance plan for your socks because these are expensive socks. And the last thing you want to do is either put a fingernail through them or your rings or watches or bracelets because once you kind of put a hole through them, that's it. And the gloves are like I said, a little insurance plan just to kind of protect them and make sure that you're not going to put your fingernail through them or catch them on rings, and that's a common thing. So we sell them at the store. They're really easy to pick up, and if you have them and you have any issues with your socks, that'll be one of the first questions I ask. Did you buy gloves and are you using them? So what we recommend, here's a little tip. Because that compression's all at the ankle, if you bunch it down, because it's really tempting with long socks to like bunch them and then put them on like that, you have a lot extra material at the ankle that's going to make it very difficult to get it up over the ankle and the heel. So what we recommend is putting them over your arm, and again, be careful, watches and bracelets and rings. So if you have rings, wear your gloves or use the other hand. And you just put it over your arm like this and just slide it down until the ankle bit, I'm showing you the back because that's where the ankle is, the ankle bit kind of pops out. And that's the part that you're going to put over your heel. So it's got less material here, but it's still really tight, but it's a little bit easier to put on. So I've already shown Sasha how to do that, so she's going to try it, and then I'll show her what to do with the gloves. And this makes it easier. And these gloves are really handy too if you're a carer, putting them on somebody else. They will just make them a little bit easier to put on because they've got little grippy things, so they make them really grippy. So Sasha's already done that, so she's just going to pop it over her foot until it kind of meets the heel, and then all she has to do is grab this little bit of extra sock that's here for the top part, and it's just going to, she's going to pull up on that, and it's going to go up over the ankle and bring it up. So if she has any lumps or bumps left over, sometimes some bunching can happen at the ankle, then these gloves can help kind of even out the compression so you're not pulling on them, because pulling on them is going to stretch the compression. You're at a higher risk of putting holes in them. And then therefore she can use the gloves to kind of, if she's pulled them up too high, as you can see, pulling them down is a lot easier. Or if she hasn't pulled them up enough, you can just really really, all you do is milking those socks back up, and you can see that they've come up a bit, and they make it a little bit easier. Now, where these socks have got some great stretch to them, so it's in some circumstances they might fit all the way up over her knee, and if that's the case, then even if they stretch all the way up, the fit is still good. You just got to maintain that at the bend of the knee, that they're 2 finger widths below. So even on the inside of the knee, you can tell that she's got them just in the right place, 2 finger widths, and therefore they're in the right place. And throughout the day, if they start to slide, they won't slide, but if they start to slide, you can use your gloves again to just kind of milk that compression back up. And there, sock is on. I'm going to go over quickly on how to maintain these socks while Sasha puts the other one on, so you can watch her if you'd like. The manufacturer guarantees the level of compression for 6 months. So most private health insurance covers for 2 pair a year. So as you alternate days wearing them and washing them, that equals the 6 months. So properly maintaining them, wearing your gloves, washing them in the right proper way will maintain them for that 6 months. Does that mean after the 6 months or the year you throw them away? Absolutely not. They will still have some good benefit to them. So I do recommend that you continue to wear them. Every manufacturer has their own washing solution. This little bottle is like $3, and you don't need a lot. So, for example, Sasha's only going to be washing 1 pair at night, but when you pour this out, it comes out like a ninja. So I always recommend that you pour a little bit into the cap, because you only need a little bit, because you don't want the residue of the soap staying on there. The manufacturers say that they can go in the washing machine. They recommend in a garment bag, so they're not the 1 pair of socks that get stuck in your agitator. But myself, I recommend hand washing them, because then they are definitely not the pair that's going to get stuck, or maybe if you're lucky enough that a partner does your laundry for you, that they put them in the dryer, that sort of stuff. So if you hand wash them, you're kind of guaranteed that you kind of keep a hold of them. And never put them in the dryer. I think the manufacturer says it's okay to put in the dryer, but it has to be low heat, low tumble, and the chances of that happening are pretty slim. So just hang them to dry, and they'll last a little bit longer. If they accidentally go in the washing machine, you might find that they have shrunk a little bit, that it affects the elasticity, and then therefore they might not fit as well. So were the gloves a little bit easier?
Yeah, much easier.
Perfect. The sock manufacturers all come with a whole bunch of different aids, and they call them doff and donners, which is kind of a funny word, but doff is to put the sock on, and no, donner is to put the sock on, doff is to take it off, something like that. But anyway, we have a lot of tools that can help you put your socks on and off. So I'm going to just show you this one real quick one. It's called a Magnide. It comes from Sigvaris. This material, it's like a parachute material, so it's like super slippery. And I'm just going to show you on Sasha on how easy it is. These things can retail around the $50 mark, so they are kind of an investment, but once you've used it a couple times, if you've been struggling to wear your socks, you'll think, how did I live without this thing? So it's very easy, it just slides, and they come in different sizes, so don't just buy one off the shelf, you have to be sized for it. So this one is a large, it's too big for Sasha, but we'll just roll with this. So these are just little magnets on here, so if it pops off, it's just a magnet. And she's done the same thing with her sock over the arm to get it ready, and it just slides over this material a lot easier, because like I said, it's a lot slipperier. So she's going to pull it up as far as she can, and the tab, there's a little tab left over at the back. And all she's going to do now is pull that tab. And out it comes. As simple as she showed, it's like a magic trick. It's like she pulled a rabbit out of a hat. And now the sock is on. So she would pop her gloves on, and she could even out the compression wherever it was needed if there was any bunches left. When I use it, sometimes I find it, and I think it's done it on her as well, the heel isn't in the right spot. It kind of almost pulls it on a bit too much, which is it's a good problem to have. So using her gloves, she would kind of milk this back to kind of stop that squashy toe feeling and make sure the heel is in the correct place. But that was a lot easier to put on. A lot really easier. Yes. So it is a good investment and a great tool as well if you're helping somebody. Because if Sasha was perhaps an elderly person or somebody with special needs, and I was trying to help put those socks on, that kind of pressure of really struggling to put the socks on can put pressure on joints, knees, hips, and can be very painful, not only for the person putting the socks on, but for the person getting the socks onto. So these little tools are great. Maybe not for individuals that are nice and young and fit like Sasha, but perhaps somebody else who just needs a little bit more assistance. It will help them wear their socks and get the benefits out of it. So I just want to thank Sasha for being my little model for today, and she's, like I said, an ideal candidate because she's on her feet all the time, and she's a busy mom, and she's a woman, and she's probably was recommended to wear them in pregnancy and then never wore them again. So her poor husband is going to be next. So wait till I hit him up for socks. But if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us at the store, and I can show you all these tips and tricks to get these socks on and make sure people wear them. So thank you.
Perfect, thank you.